Step 1. Choosing the wood. Before there's a core, before Hermione corrects your pronunciation, before your wand saves you in a life or death duel, there is a tree. This is where a wand's destiny begins. Now, you'd probably assume that in the wizarding world any random tree can be carved into a wand. I mean, magic trees, magic forests, seems logical, right? But not every tree gets to be magic. According to Garrick Ollivander, wandwood must possess latent magical properties. Some trees flat out refuse to bond with cores. Others amplify specific traits. You probably know about the celebrity woods of wand making, Yew, Holly, and the Elder. Yew has a reputation for intensity and historically dramatic owners. If Yew had a playlist, it would be full orchestral crescendos, and maybe a sad trombone or two. Guess who has a Yew wand? Hint, bald, old, and likes fighting teenagers. Holly is protective and thrives in crisis. The I didn't ask for chaos, but I will handle it wood. Yes, Harry has it. Great for surviving school exams and dark wizards. Elderwood is so powerful it practically demands dramatic lighting, fog, and a 3-part legend. Matches Dumbledore perfectly, don't you agree? So, while newbies might think selecting wandwood is just simple lumber picking, in reality, it's full-on personality profiling with splinters. Ouch! And that's exactly why wand making is far more precise than it looks. Wand makers mainly study these 4 things. Number 1. Tree age. Wand quality wood isn't snatched from a baby sapling. It needs magical maturity, because no one wants their life or death duel powered by what is essentially wizard kindergarten lumber. Number 2. Magical history. Now, this just means wand makers tracking centuries of wand performance data to see which tree species produce what kind of chaos, not interrogating a yew tree about its emotional backstory. Number 3. Environmental exposure, which means that wood must be carefully harvested and properly treated. But there's no rule that growing near a dragon makes it spicy. This is wand lore, not seasoning. Number 4. Nearby magical activity. Wand makers check nearby magical activity not because the tree's secretly absorbing spells, but to make sure it didn't grow up in a chaotic mess like a nightclub for rogue hexes. And why bother? Because the wood determines temperament, length, flexibility, and personality all start here. A rigid oak wand behaves differently than a supple willow. The wood shapes how the wand will bond, resist, or adapt to future owners. Selecting the right tree is step 1. Harvesting is step 2. Now, when it's time for harvesting the wood, a wand maker does not storm into a forest swinging an axe like a lumberjack in an action movie. Magical wood must be cut when its energy is stable, aligned, and receptive. Timing matters. Some wand makers swear by lunar phases. Others won't touch a tree if a storm, eclipse, or magical upheaval is brewing nearby. The idea is the wood soaks up the vibes. So, if you chop it during peak chaos, congratulations! Your wand now has the personality of a hormonal teenager who refuses to listen to reason. The cut matters. You can't chop it like fruit for a post-workout smoothie and call it a day. Preserve the grain. Always preserve the grain, because the grain is the wand's nervous system. Splinter it, rush it, or damage the wood and you compromise magical conductivity. At this stage, the wood is raw potential. It has personality, but not promise. A character without a plot. That plot arrives with something far more volatile, the core. And before you call the UN environment, the tree isn't always destroyed during the harvesting process. Many wand makers take only what's needed, preserving it for future growth. So yeah, before a wand chooses a wizard, the wand maker chooses a tree. Step 2. Core channeling. This is where the wand stops being nice enchanted wood and officially starts being a weapon. A functional wand isn't just a solid branch of wood. Inside it needs a precisely measured channel where the magical core will sit, conduct power, and decide whether your spell comes out as a graceful jet of light or a regrettable blast that Seamus Finnegan knows all too well. And this channel has to be perfect. Too narrow, the core panics, overheats, or melts down. Think magical claustrophobia. Too wide, it rattles around like loose coins in a sock, and your spells wobble like a confused owl. Too crooked, spell turbulence. And trust me, no one wants turbulence in a duel. This isn't budget flight magic. So, How is this channel built? The wand maker hollows the channel along the grain, always with the grain. The grain is the wand's nervous system. Remember? Fight it, and the wand will hold a grudge for decades. Different woods demand different depths. Some love deep channels for dramatic cores. Others want a snug fit to enforce loyalty. Some are sensitive divas. One wrong move and they ghost the entire process. Step 3. Choosing the core. If the wood is the body, the core is the heartbeat. Canonically, depending on the region and the time period, wand makers have experimented with just about everything. Vela hair, Niffler whiskers, Kelpie tendons, you name it. But for today, let's keep it simple and Ollivander style. After his research, he mostly sticks to phoenix feathers, dragon heartstrings, and unicorn hair, because these cores are reliable and, most importantly, won't start a full-blown tantrum in the middle of a duel. Phoenix Feather is rare, dramatic, and fiercely independent. It can perform insane magic but does not tolerate mediocrity. Mess up once, and it will silently judge you while your spell fizzles. Dragon Heartstring, powerful, flashy, quick to learn, and emotionally volatile. Think magical fireworks. Unicorn hair is steady, loyal, and unlikely to explode mid-lesson. That's why it's the most common core at Hogwarts. But acquiring these cores is not a casual stroll through Walmart grabbing snacks and beer. Also, remember, just as harvesting wandwood doesn't mean chopping down an entire tree, getting a core from a magical creature doesn't mean going on a deadly hunt. Yes, dragon heartstrings come from the heartstrings of a dragon, but wand makers aren't out killing dragons. That's a one-way ticket to the afterlife and simply unethical. Instead, they harvest them from dragons that are already dead. Unicorn hair must be gathered ethically, shed strands only. Hurt a unicorn and your wand career is toast. Phoenix feathers? Gifts. If the phoenix offers one, congrats. Try taking one and rest in peace. Other traditions use Vela hair, Thestral tail hair, Kelpie hair, but the principle remains the same. It's not just power, it's personality, behavior, instinct, magical muscle memory. And once you have it, preparation begins. You cannot shove a fresh phoenix feather into wood like assembling an IKEA shelf. Cores are cleaned, trimmed, measured, stabilized, and magically conditioned. This is tuning, not weakening. You're controlling the heartbeat before it even learns to cast its first spell. Think of it like trying to coax a hippogriff into perfect obedience, without getting pecked, clawed, or launched across the field like an unwitting seeker in a rogue Quidditch match. Fun fact, before Ollivander refined wand making, witches and wizards would show up with their own magical materials. Here's a dragon claw. Can you use it? Unicorn hairs, Kneasel whiskers, random creature parts. Whatever they believed was powerful. Today's supreme cores are carefully selected. Back then, it was mostly guesswork and occasionally explosive. Step 4. Fusing core and wood. Up until now, you've just been carving the wand's channel, but now comes the moment of truth. It's time to slide the chosen core inside. So, brace yourself, because this is the irreversible step, the magical equivalent of sending a risque Instagram message except with no unsend button. Up until now, you've been handling parts, wood, core, measurements, spreadsheets, if you're that overachieving type. But the moment that core slides into the wand, you stop crafting materials and start manufacturing destiny. No pressure. The core must be guided slowly, gently, respectfully. This is not a sword in the stone moment. If you're sweating, muttering incantations like you're jump-starting a car, something has already gone wrong. Alignment is everything. Too shallow and long-range spells sputter mid-flight like weak Wi-Fi. Too deep and control wobbles. Too crooked, and your stunning spell leaves at a bold 45-degree angle, misses your opponent, ricochets off the wall, and hits you in the kneecap. Not ideal. Subtle guiding charms help. Repeat after me. Minimal magic, maximum restraint. No blasting spells like you just unlocked Wizarding Super Saiyan mode. Right now, the wand isn't fully awake, it's forming opinions. Picture two powerful beings trapped in a narrow wooden hallway, arms crossed, silently evaluating each other's vibe. If the pairing is wrong, tension builds, sparks fly. It's basically a magical sigh. This isn't going to work. But if it's right, something clicks. Quiet, clean, like a lock turning. Or that, I think I have found the love of my life. That's where bonding enters the chat, the step that separates master wand makers from stick enthusiast amateurs. Binding enchantments fuse wood and core into a single magical circuit. The wand may hum, vibrate, even emit sparks. That's not a malfunction. It's the wood and core negotiating roommate agreements, setting boundaries. After this step, the wand is no longer two objects. It's one entity, alive, slightly sassy. Now, if you haven't messed up a single step so far, congrats, the wand is ready for the next phase of its magical life. Step 5. Wand Calibration. So, how do you go from here's your stick to here's your lifelong magical partner? Well, that transformation happens in the carve, balance, and calibrate step, where the wand must feel right, really right. Final shaping smooths the shaft, refines the taper, and crafts the handle. Some wand makers go minimalist, sleek, elegant, unassuming. Others go full medieval stress ball, ridges, bumps, subtle grips. Basically the tactile equivalent of a fidget toy from the 1600s. Decoration is optional, functionality is not. Balance is everything. A wand is a conductor, not a drumstick. Too much wood near the handle makes it sluggish, like it's dragging a hangover after one too many fire whiskeys. Too thin near the tip and it twitches like a caffeinated gnome. A single millimeter can mean the difference between hitting your opponent with Expelliarmus or detonating your potion cauldron. In this step, the length and flexibility are finalized. Long wands suit broad, dramatic gestures. Imagine Harry sweeping through a duel like he's auditioning for Broadway. Short wands are precise, the Hermione-level scalpel of magic. Flexible wands adapt to the wizard. Rigid ones demand respect, skill, and maybe a stiff cup of tea to calm nerves with some biscuits, thank you very much. Looking good is simply not enough. Now we test it. Magical calibration is basically quality control on steroids. Controlled spells test consistently. Responsiveness, resistance, and power flow. Does it hesitate, surge, vibrate like a malfunctioning sneakoscope? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Anyways, a stable wand delivers smooth, repeatable magic. An unstable one sparks, sputters, or redirects your spell toward the nearest unsuspecting first year. Calibration also reveals temperament. Some wands practically scream, "Duel me now." Others are calm, elegant, healing focused. Minor adjustments follow. Micro shavings, subtle rebalancing, teeny enchantments. By the end, the wand is responsive, stable, and ready. It's beautiful, it's deadly, and it's about to meet its wizard. Step 6. The wand chooses the wizard. This is where wand making stops being a craft and starts flirting with the sacred, and a touch of drama. Remember when Harry asked Ollivander if wands had feelings? He famously replied, "The wand chooses the wizard, Mr. Potter." So, sorry, impulse shoppers of Diagon Alley, you can't just grab the first stick that looks cool and hope for the best. That's like picking a dating profile purely on aesthetics. Disaster is guaranteed. Lift a mismatched wand and nothing. No spark, no tingle, just awkward silence. It's judging your life choices. Sure, it's technically working, but don't expect it to sing. Spells feel clunky, charms lag, and in a high-stakes duel, your eyebrows, dignity, and possibly nearby house elves are at risk. But when the right wand meets the right hand, magic reacts instantly. Clean bursts, subtle warmth, the air practically hums. You feel like the lead in a teen wizarding action movie. Lightning crackling, dramatic hair flip included. This wand is awake, alert, and yes, a little over-dramatic. From that moment, allegiance forms. Wands learn their owners. They bond through every spell, duel, and accidental mishap. Looking at you, first-year levitation attempts. Some even switch loyalties under extreme drama. Think wand soap opera, full of cliffhangers and emotional spikes. The wand maker handles wood, core, balance, and structure. But completion, that's in your hands, literally. Multiple painstaking steps, culminating in a single life-changing handshake between wizard and wand. One meeting, one spark, and suddenly every dual charm and misfired spell in your story traces back to that awkward magical yes moment. Because at the end of the day, a wand may be made by a wand maker, but it's completed by a wizard or a witch. And yes, sometimes it chooses the kid who can barely levitate a feather over the one who's been practicing every spell in Hogwarts a history. Because the wand doesn't care about ambition, only compatibility. Now, Ollivander thinks you're ready for the next lesson. Every official wand, wood, and core in Harry Potter Explained. Click now before Harry starts waving random wands around your bedroom.